Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Psycho Gold, this is Psycho Gold Videos. This is going to be a little bit different to normal. It's not an anime, it's not a trailer, it's not even anything that I could describe as a series or a show. This is a reaction to a video called Star Wars SC38 Reimagined. SC stands for scene. If you don't know what this is, then let me set the scene. Literally. Scene 38 is the fight in the original Star Wars film between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obviously Alec Guinness and David Prowse respectively. However, to say that that scene has some criticisms leveled against it in this day and age of feeling a little bit out of place when you watch that film alongside pretty much every other film, even Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Sorry about that. There was a loud bang outside and I was like, the hell was that? But anyway, yeah, so this is basically a team that have come together and they have reshot the fight sequence between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, they put out some footage a while ago now, and what they showed off looked pretty good. I'm gonna check out this fight sequence. It basically is going to make the fight feel more consistent with the rest of the universe. So, obviously, we know that Darth Vader is a very aggressive, very fast fighter. We know that Anakin Skywalker is a very gifted combatant with the lightsaber. And Obi-Wan Kenobi was obviously very, very different in the prequels to how he was in A New Hope. But at the same time, the various novels and graphic novels have also shown that although Obi-Wan's lightsaber skills may not have been as good as they were in his prime, he wasn't exactly a slouch either. Now, before we watch this, I must stress, I personally don't actually have a problem with the fight scene in the first Star Wars film. There are several and plenty of in-universe explanations as to why they fight the way they do, but the truth of the matter is, it's just that they were using glass tubes that they weren't allowed to make contact with, and as a result of which, there wasn't really much they could do with the fight scene in that first film. If you watch the behind-the-scenes footage of Prowse and Guinness fighting with sticks instead of the glass tubes, they have pretty good choreography, they've got a lot of power in their swings, and they connect. And I genuinely do think that the fight scene would have been not like amazing, but it would have held up and still been consistent, because in those original films they used Japanese sword sparring as the base model. Like Mark Hamill said that they used, you know, a lot of Kempo in the way that they wanted to handle the lightsabers, and it's very obvious if you look at the behind the scenes stuff that that whole fight scene was trying to do the same thing. They used the Kempo sticks that I'm sorry I can't remember the name of because my brain is blanking, but that's what they used to practice the fights with. So it really frustrates me that they ended up having to use these glass tubes that were really fragile, because I just think it would have been really cool to have that originally choreographed fight scene instead of what we got, where they literally weren't allowed to make any kind of contact with the swords, which is why it looks like they're not really fighting, because they're not. They're just kind of swinging and trying to not hit each other, which is literally the opposite of what they should be doing as characters. But we're going to see what this has in store for us. It looks like it's going to be really high quality, so let's dive in. 3, 2, 1, go. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
That's no moon. It's a space station. Is it too big to be a space station?
Very bad feeling about
Caught the tractor beam that's pulling us in.
Essentially, presence have not felt since.
Okay.
He says he's found the main controls to the power beam that's holding us
Go
here.
alone.
I want to go
Your
with you.
destiny lies along a different path. The Force will be with you always. Obi-Wan is here.
It's like a little recap to get us to the scene. Oh, there we go. I was gonna say, this is straight from the film, I think. Although I'm not sure, actually, looking at that Vader helmet. It might be, I mean, that's clearly Alec Guinness, obviously, but Nah, the Vader stuff is different. Oh, okay, no, this has been cut. Yeah, this is obviously when it starts new. Oh, nice. I like the way he used the Force to pull his lightsaber out. Okay, so it's kind of a mix between cutting footage from the film, doubles, and very, very interesting camera angles. Such a better glow on that already. Same with his lightsaber. Okay, I'm excited. Camera work is a lot better. I like it. I like it a lot. Oh, damn. Okay.
Our long-awaited meeting has come at last.
The circle is now complete. When I left you, I was but the learner.
Now I am the master.
Only a master of evil does.
Whoa! Okay. That's escalated very quickly. This is more like what you... Okay, that close-up was actually pretty good. Yeah, you can tell it's all special effects, but I don't care.
Strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
Then I will show you the true nature of the Force.
What? I don't remember that line. That was pretty cool. Okay, yeah, this is definitely more consistent with the rest of the fights we've seen from these two characters. Although something's not right about Vader. He's oh, it's because he's only fighting with one hand, and that's why it didn't look right at all. It looked cool, but that didn't look right in the slightest.
Are you safe? For the moment. We're in the main hangar across from the ship.
He looked strong and powerful though. Like that looked like there was so much more power behind those shots. That was great.
Certainly has courage.
Good will it do us if he gets himself killed. Come on.
Oh. Damn. Okay, so we're not just fighting in a corridor this time.
There is no escape.
Okay. I don't care that it's not quite right. I really like this. The damage they're doing to the walls. Oh! Oh! Damn. Now this feels like the Vader that we saw at the end of Rogue One, when he wiped out that corridor. You can believe it went straight into this. That's ridiculous.
What kept you?
We are running some old friends.
Is the ship all right?
Seems okay if we can get to it. Just hope the old man got the tractor beam out of commission.
He's a bit busy at the moment. Oh, the lighting's changed drastically. Now it doesn't look so good. Oh, it's because it's it's trying to match this bit. That makes sense. I was a bit confused then.
Let's go. Come on, R2. We're going.
I find it interesting how Vader keeps swapping between one-handed strikes and two-handed strikes. It looks really cool. It's just, I've never seen Vader so full of movement, you know? It's a lot closer to Anakin's style. Very similar to... Oh, wow. Oh, damn. Bringing in that Clone Wars voice lines. Oh, this is so cool. Yeah, it's a bit janky in places, but I don't care. It looks amazing.
Now you will die.
Oh! That cut as it went through the body was... Wow. Yeah. That I must admit, I like that. That was pretty cool. Might have to watch that again. Huh? I was gonna say.
Run, run.
Kenobi.
Oh, we get to see more of it from his point of view? Another Clone Wars line to end it there. Oh, okay, that was actually pretty good. I'm pretty pleased with that. Right. I'm gonna watch that again, because I do want to talk about it a little bit. Not too much, but I want to just rewatch it, and there was so much going on there that it was kind of just like blew my mind with all of a sudden Vader just exploded with his attack. So I'm gonna watch it again. I'll skip the bits that are just the original film, and let's see, and then let's talk about it afterwards. Okay, so watched it again. We'll probably watch it again when I show it to Jade later. But first of all, fix it in post. That was amazing. Well done. Congratulations. If by some chance you watch this, know that that is an amazing work that you've done. Yes, I'm about to talk about it and probably point out some of its flaws. But trust me, that was such a good video. That was such a good reimagining of how the scene could be. And the one thing I'd like to point out for anybody else who looks at it and can only see the flaws, they are not Lucasfilm, Disney. They're not a big production company. They are fans like the rest of us who wanted to try and bring something together. When you remember that, then when you look at the flaws, are they really flaws, or are they just the fact that they are not a multi-million-dollar studio? Because I'm 99% confident that if we gave them time and money, they could make that scene flawless. And with that said, I want to say that has so much emotional energy running through it that the original scene doesn't have, because this scene does have one massive advantage that the original film doesn't. It takes advantage of the development of the characters that didn't exist when this film was originally made. Now, if you were to go back and remake other films with the benefit of knowing where their sequels and their prequels go, then yes, you could improve them in the same way that this scene has done. That doesn't mean I don't enjoy this scene, I enjoy it very much, but I would like to point out that it is a bit unfair to compare them, because one was made in 2019, or 2018 maybe, and the other one was made in the 70s. So some time has passed between them. But with that said, the choreography between Vader and Kenobi was absolutely on point. There were certain bits that I thought felt a bit out of place, but when I watched them a second time, there's only one bit that I think doesn't look quite right, and that's not, I don't think, the choreography. I thought it was at first, but now I think it's the camera work. There's a shot in the first hole when they start fighting, and the camera goes above them, so you can see like a bird's eye view of the fight. Vader does a bit of flowering and attacks behind him without looking, continues to attack, and then turns around to follow it up, or defend, whichever, if case Obi-Wan is about to respond. Now, that looked really out of place when I first saw it from Vader. It wouldn't look out of place from Anakin, and if you read the books, it's not that out of place for Vader. I said that it was unusual to see Vader wielding the lightsaber one-handed, but in fairness, he wields it one-handed in the Rogue One scene, and in the Marvel Comics he also wields it one-handed a fair amount. He only really wields it two-handed when he knows he's up against an opponent of considerable skill where he needs to defend his chest piece, or when he just wants to play with someone and he's calm and centered, like in Empire Strikes Back, where he is in complete control of the situation and he knows it. This, I think, is a much more realistic version of this fight with Obi-Wan, because Vader is angry. Vader is full of hate and rage, and he has been looking for Kenobi for years in the Disney canon. Vader has been solely focused on finding Kenobi, alongside everything else that he has to do for the Emperor, for the Empire, for himself, but always at some point in the back of his mind is the hatred for Kenobi that keeps him going. If you watch the Rebels TV series, he makes references to Kenobi pretty much any time something happens that is an advantage to the Empire, such as a sentence where they say, you know, this could lead us to lost Jedi, and the first thing that Vader said is Kenobi. He doesn't care about anybody else. He wants that rematch. So seeing the fight go from the way that we know it in our minds to this, I can completely see this being the way that the fight would actually go. Obi-Wan, being on the defensive, and Vader being an absolute juggernaut of a Sith. Now, as I say, the weird bit when it's from the top, it makes it look like the helmet is CGI'd onto the actor. I don't think that is the case, although the more I've watched it, the more I'm wondering if there are sections where the actor in the Vader costume isn't anywhere near as tall as they're trying to portray him to be, because there were multiple points where Vader just doesn't look right. It's not the camera work, it's not the CGI, it's not that he's been cut and pasted into a different background. That's clearly somebody in the suit doing this new stuff, and for some reason he doesn't look right. I don't know if he's not built enough, if he's not tall enough, but something about him doesn't look right. The suit looks great, he can definitely do the choreography, and again, this is not me complaining, this is just an observation. I've watched it twice, and both times I've thought that there's something not quite right about Vader. Now, at the same time, Obi-Wan, I thought, to be honest, it took me completely by surprise how many times we were going to see Alec Guinness's face, because there are so many different angles, the choreography is so different, the whole sequence plays out so differently. I know that they got a double. There are some shots where you can see him. It's good enough. But when they zoom in and it actually is Alec Guinness's face, that's actually pretty impressive. I don't care whether or not it looks bad or good. It looked fine to me. But that was just really cool. Like, it kind of kept it together. And anytime I was thinking about Vader, they would show off Alec Guinness, and it was kind of like, actually no, I take it back. It looks fine in its self-contained scene. If it was like in a big budget film, then yeah, I would be having a lot more issue with it. But for this, for the fan production, it is more than good enough. It looks damn amazing. And with that said, I love the fact that they also changed this into a 3-hall fight scene. It starts off in the main hall, then we get that really tight corridor that Vader takes full advantage of and starts whooping Obi-Wan and sends him away with the Force. And before that, we also saw Vader attack him with objects with the Force, and then he got really angry, and just the more the fight went on, Vader got faster and more aggressive, and he just left all pretense of being a defensive fighter behind him. He started the fight as Darth Vader, but his emotions turned him back into Anakin Skywalker. He did a fist punch, he did a headbutt, he did flowery moves with his lightsaber, he attacked behind him using just the Force to guide him, and he was clearly using the Force to enhance his speed and agility, because we all know that in that suit of armor, Vader was not the most graceful and agile of warriors. But if you've read any of the books or read the comics that are now still canon, not the Legends canon, but if you've read the current canon, then you know that he likes to enhance his abilities with the Force, which makes complete sense. And I think this is a pretty good representation of how he would be able to move when he had the Force aiding him. I also like the little details that Vader was so wild that he was just completely wrecking the walls and the floor around him with those lightsaber scars cutting into the Death Star's interior. That was a nice little touch that they didn't have to do, but I think it definitely lent itself to making Vader's just all-out aggressiveness just that bit more believable. I was also surprised to see that they did actually slot these sequences in around like the story of A New Hope. I didn't expect to see scenes from A New Hope in there, so that was a nice little touch. Also made it easier for them to transition between the 3 different distinct fights that they had going on, which, yeah, like I said, the second bit in the corridor was great. I loved the choreography in there, and then when the third sequence hit, the change to the color of the overall scene kind of threw me, but then obviously I realized why they did that. It's because they were trying to match it to the doors opening for when it cuts to A New Hope. So it is a bit jarring at first, but I think it's jarring for like a second and then you just get used to it. I almost feel like they could have done with something in the previous fight sequence of them moving into an area and the lights change so that it's a clear, distinct alteration instead of it just being a, why is the room blue? You know? But the end bit, which is the bit I really want to get to, where they are taking the stances that they do in the actual A New Hope fight scene, and then Vader does the side attack and then goes back into one-handed striking, and then Obi-Wan uses the Force to push Vader away, and then we have that slow shot of Vader sort of rising, and as the camera pans out, you hear Anakin Skywalker scream that line from Revenge of the Sith, "I hate you," and in that moment, the joining of Darth Vader to Skywalker is just perfect. That is the moment where you just think, yes, I could definitely see Vader and Anakin Skywalker being the same person through this scene. It doesn't happen very often. Vader works a lot to make sure that the Jedi is always kept in the past and that he is a different person. But in that moment, Vader and Anakin Skywalker were a personality, a single joint personality again, and every single memory he has from Mustafar when Obi-Wan betrayed him was coming back to the surface. The death of Padme, at that point him obviously not knowing, I don't think, at that point he doesn't know that he has kids anymore, so he's still 100% dark side. The only thing he lives for is revenge and for whatever it is that the Emperor tells him to do. And obviously we then see Obi-Wan trying to get back up, and you hear his younger voice, respond with, "You were my brother, Anakin, I love you." And there aren't many things that the prequel did well, but Revenge of the Sith and the relationship between Obi-Wan and Anakin when it breaks down is one of the things that it does well. Calling back to that for this scene, like I said, with the benefit of knowing where the prequels and the sequels were going to go, it was just a brilliant moment. I didn't know that they were going to do that, and I'm so happy that they did, because that just made the scene for me. And then obviously, literally seconds later, Darth Vader cuts him down. As a nice little segue, Vader says, "Now you will die." I'm not entirely sure where that voice line came from. I don't know if they recorded that specifically for the scene, or if it's pulled from a video game or something, because that didn't actually sound like James Earl Jones. It might have been, it just might have been when he was on an off day or something, but all the other voice lines were either taken from A New Hope, or they were taken from Rebels. When they first meet at the beginning, and he has that cool moment where he pulls the lightsaber out using the Force, and he says, "Our long-awaiting meeting has come at last." That's definitely from Rebels. That's when Vader and Ahsoka Tano meet, I think. And then obviously it cuts into A New Hope. And I actually think that the way they re-edited the voice lines worked pretty well. I liked where they put the lines, the fact that they added in, "You are weak, old man, you should not have come," to that moment when he's literally leaning in over Obi-Wan with his lightsaber. And they have their little exchange of dialogues whilst they're pausing in between attacks. That was pretty cool. I did like that. And as I say, there were several weird shots that didn't look quite right. There was a lot of camera trickery to make scenes look like they belonged together when they clearly weren't shot together, and there was a lot of green screening. There was some very good cookie cutting of taking assets from A New Hope and putting them into their new scene, especially in the form of Alec Guinness. And like I said, hats off to them. That was really good. The bottom line is I enjoyed it, and you can't ask for more than that. If you're gonna take it apart, you can, but I'm not going to. I really enjoyed it, and I just think well done. So yeah. If you enjoyed my reaction to this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. You'll find the original video in the description below. Please go give it a watch, go tell them I sent you, and send them all of the love. Leave your comments down below, let me know what you thought of this scene. I'd love to discuss it with you guys. And as always, if you're new around here, don't forget to click that subscribe button. Maybe on your way out, or maybe as you're going to check out some more videos. I'll leave the decision to you. Either way guys, that's going to be it for me. My name is Psycho Gold, and I will see you in my next video. Psycho Gold, out.